Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Hopefully you've all had a good Thursday so far. This is going to be our daily cryptocurrency market update, and we're not going to waste any time, and we're going to get right into it. We're going to start off by looking at what Jerome Powell essentially said yesterday in front of Congress. There was some really revealing things said during this session, and we're going to get into a little bit of it to start the video off. We will be looking at the likes of some comments from China, warning that Bitcoin is heading to zero. However, the Bank of England have actually came out and been quite favorable with crypto, and in actual fact said that the survivors of the cryptocurrency crash will become market dominant players, i.e., comparing it to the likes of Amazon and what they did in the dot-com boom and how they survived after that. You guys will know if you've been following my channel for an extended period of time. This was one of the first videos I ever made way back in 2020. I'd been in crypto previously, but decided to sort of start a YouTube career, I guess, talking about crypto back then. We were essentially looking at Bitcoin and how it was following Amazon extremely closely. This, of course, is Bitcoin. This is Amazon, and this was back when Bitcoin, just after the March 2020 crash, we were saying, look, there's a similar trajectory that the cryptocurrency market is on, as it is a technological revolution. And the Bank of England seems to be very much in agreement with that. We will be getting into the price. One thing that I've been doing is really paying attention to volume analysis. I have no idea why more people aren't talking about volume. It gives you that third dimensional view on markets because, yes, we can use RSIs and a number of other things, which can be oversold or overbought multiple times before an actual trend takes a reversal. However, volume, I believe, and we're going to be talking about this and deep diving into volume analysis a lot more on this channel, is going to be the key to timing this reversal and a real market shift, as we will be able to see through volume the footprints in the sand in regards to market participants changing their stance and trends weakening. But we'll talk about that a little bit, and then we'll get into some Voyager news, which of course is another VC that is suffering at the hands of cascading liquidations. So Powell yesterday tells Congress the Fed is strongly committed on inflation, notes recession is a possibility. Now, I took quite a lot from this. I put a video up for my Patreons diving into this. I took some snippets of essentially what was said by Jerome Powell and what the likes of Elizabeth Warren had to say. And I want to just start things off by playing this clip because the Fed is upping interest rates to fight inflation. However, at the same time, Jerome Powell, within this congressional hearing, said that inflation in regards to oil and food wasn't likely to come down. The demand is not really within the Fed's control, and interest rate hikes weren't likely to sort of push food and oil down, which is very telling. And then the second half, which I won't play because obviously I'd kind of provided this to my patrons, but the second half was really about Elizabeth Warren saying, look, you know what you're doing with interest rate hikes. You're essentially killing off the economy, killing off the consumer and the demand of the consumer, and you're not actually going to be able to really tackle inflation that significantly. But we'll play this clip, we'll talk about it, review it, and then we'll move on with the video.
Last week, you announced that the Fed would raise rates by 0.75 of a percentage point, the biggest increase in nearly 30 years. So let's talk about what the Fed is and isn't doing when it raises interest rates to try to bring down inflation. Let's start with gas prices. The price of gas is up 40% since Russia invaded Ukraine in February. Chair Powell, will gas prices go down as a result of your interest rate increase?
I would not think so, no.
That's all you need to know, guys. The second one, she asked Jerome about food prices. He said, no, not likely. And then she basically asked him to elaborate on what interest rate hikes are doing. And this is key to understand in regards to the environment that we're in. Interest rate hikes are designed to take liquidity out of markets, designed to make the dollar stronger, which we've actually said before Jerome had come out and previously said this. When you up interest rates, the demand for dollars inherently, as a mechanism of how the system, the fiat system or the dollar system works, goes up. That is bad for crypto. It's a real supply shock of dollars, if you will, after 2022 or March 2020 saw huge inflation into the dollar system. It's very key to be watching these kind of metrics. We know that gas and oil is taking a bit of a pullback. My suspicion is that they actually continue to climb higher. But one thing that Elizabeth Warren really pressed was, look, you're not necessarily taming inflation, but you're killing off the consumer. And he was saying, yeah, well, this is what we're trying to do. Understand that and you'll do a lot better in these markets. Let's get on to a little bit of the comments from the likes of China. China warns Bitcoin is heading to zero, but Bank of England looks on the bright side. Official Chinese national news media outlet warns readers that Bitcoin could go to zero value in order to dissuade them from investing and using crypto. So nothing new here, guys. China, I think, is still going to play a part in the sort of crypto narrative. You do have the Deputy Governor for the Bank of England, John Cunliffe. Whatever happens over the next few months to crypto assets, I expect crypto technology and finance to continue. It has the possibility of huge efficiencies and changes in market structure. This is another comment here. Bank of England, survivors of crypto crash could become dominant players. And this is my belief. You know, people think we're bearish on the cryptocurrency market. You've misunderstood my stance on crypto if you think that's the case. This is a tech revolution, guys. It is going to play, some of the cryptos that we have today are going to play a substantial role in our lives moving forwards. They're not going anywhere. But what we're really trying to analyze in these videos is the market conditions, the price, and what's happening with it. And right now, we're in a very tricky environment. We previously said that, you know, this is going to be the first environment that Bitcoin's had where, you know, the stock market is actually coming off as well. Since 2008, when Bitcoin was essentially spawned, we've had very, very accommodating markets. You know, you can see very clearly 2008 crash, markets have just generally gone up, and this has a lot to do with quantitative easing. We're now in quantitative tightening, and this is the first time Bitcoin has ever had to deal with it. And we're going to get a lot of data coming from this in regards to how Bitcoin fares in this environment. My guess is that it goes down with the rest of the markets. The equity market, I see huge risk in. We see dollar strength. We see consumer getting killed. We see recessionary effects taking place. How is that a bullish stance for Bitcoin over the short-term future until these set of circumstances change? Understand that I'm not bearish. I'm just telling you exactly how it is, guys, and how I'm seeing it. And remember, we've been cautious since round about here, guys. Taken very, very cautious stance since round about here. Yes, we weren't the earliest here. One thing I will say is if I was looking at volume profile and volume analysis, I'd have been out here because we saw very trend supporting volume. We see an expanding volume showing that this upward trend was very strong. And then we see it waning. That is a huge red flag. Also, we could have called this as a perfect reversal. We did actually call this as a reversal in regards to the falling wedge that we had. But we'd have seen a huge spike of volume here, indicating that the trend was now about to shift. You see sell pressure wane, and then it reasserts. The issue that you've got now is you have expanding volume on a downward trending market, and that volume is very strong. You know, it's not the strongest, but certainly if we look at this downtrend, volume in terms of strength and money flow is continuing, which shows that there is still momentum to the downside to be had. Until we see a shift in that, we will not be pivoting bullish on the markets. Now, that being said, we have said that we could get a rally here. We did say that the equity market is around about its 200 weekly moving average. You know, we could see a reclaim for Bitcoin, but ultimately I think this gets killed off if the financial stance that the Fed and other governments around the world continue to take remains the same. It's not a good look for the economy by any stretch of the imagination. And to think that Bitcoin is just going to fly off the handle here and go on to a massive epic bull run and go and take new all-time highs during this environment when the players that took it up to new all-time highs over here are absent in the form of institutions because they cannot be gamblers. You know, they have margins to make, they have performances to hit. And they're not going to do that by gambling. You know, they're very structured. And this is the thing that many of us that are, and certainly even myself, you know, I've become... I don't want to say a macroeconomist by any stretch of the imagination, but the macroeconomy is certainly something I'm paying very, very close attention to and really spending the time understanding. But trading and investing has always, it's never been a get-rich-quick scheme. Yes, there are certain time periods in history where that is the case, but trading and investing has always been a long-term time horizon game that you make income off and you make your money off over a long-term period. Crypto's spoiled us in just how volatile it's been to the upside. But the downside comes with that. You know, there's always a flip of the coin, if you will, in regards to things being alternate. So the faster you go up, the harder you come down. And volume actual profiles would have really revealed this to us. So you're going to be hearing a lot more about volume from me on this channel, as it is what I'm trying to sort of base myself in as a trader. You know, I think volume holds the key to many things, certainly a shift in the kind of paradigm for a trend or a market in general. And it also can give great warning signs that things are about to turn around in the form of really high volume spikes on a declining trending volume. But we'll get into that a lot more in the future. For those of you that haven't watched my earlier videos, scroll right down to the back of my page or the bottom of my channel. Give some of those videos a watch because they were well worth watching. We didn't get anywhere near the recognition that we needed. You guys remember, we were calling Bitcoin out back here. We were also calling the likes of ADA. We were calling the likes of Chainlink. We were calling many, many coins out there, VeChain. Plenty of them that have all done exceptionally well in this bull run. Yes, we got the end of the bull run wrong. We thought it was going to extend, but you live and learn, guys, and you move on from it and grow. Voyager Digital, 60% slide leads to sell-off for crypto equities. We spoke about this yesterday from an Arthur Hayes tweet saying that, look, the liquidations aren't over. This is still a very, very dangerous game that many of these guys have played. And we're seeing the contagion from the Luna issue. Forgive me, guys. You're seeing the contagion from the 3 Arrow Capital, which is why Voyager got hit so bad. Just very poor risk management. And a really interesting thing to think about is if you guys are still here, you've outperformed Luna, Voyager, and 3 Arrows, which is certainly interesting. But that's really all I've got for you in this video, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Market may see a bit of an uptick today. It's looking that way. We're kind of coming down and basing. You can see this. The issue you've got, though, is, do you do something similar to this? Do we get another bear flag here? Potential, or some sort of a rising wedge that we pop down the outside of. We'll be watching the volumes, keep you guys up to date on that on this channel. Ultimately, for me, I still think we get lower prices for the cryptocurrency market. All I've got for you in this video, guys, if you enjoyed the content, like as always, appreciate it. So as a comment, go and check my Patreon out in the link below. It's up to you if you want to join it. Join. If you don't. I think it's very good value for what you're getting. All I've got for you guys, have a fantastic Thursday, and I'll catch you all in the next YouTube video.